What's up, world? It's your girl, Shirley Pearl, and I'm back. What up, though? With some videos. I'ma do Atlanta Housewives because, they started it all for the Black Housewives, and that's what I'm rolling with. So I'm gonna try to keep up on it and start anew and yeah, so let's get into it. So everything I say is alleged and strictly my opinion. So if you can get with that and you're not offended by the stuff I'm about to say, then you can get with this. Okay. So let's start off. We're doing the Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 17, episode 1. And the name of the episode is A Warm Welcome. Okay. Now, was it really warm? So the episode starts off with somebody walking in who I thought was Porsha, turned out to be Cynthia, with like a projector on the wall. And it does a montage of the whole season, all the, snippets of all the soon to be drama, which, we're going to be waiting to see. And then Cynthia turns around in this ponytail and says, now what else is going on? Which is her little catchphrase from seasons back when she was checking somebody. But anywho, so we go into the episode. So the episode ironically starts with Phaedra talking to her oldest son, Aiden. And I guess he's about to go to the school dance, something, ice cream social, who knows. But she asks him, what are the qualifications in your date? And he's basically like, long as they good looking. And she was like, it doesn't matter if she's smart or whatever. And he tells her, no, that don't matter, but you need to get you somebody, Drake, like Drizzy Drake. Well, let me inform you, Aiden, young man, that Drake ain't doing nothing over 50. I don't give a fuck how big Phaedra backside is. That's messing with his mama level. So that ain't gonna happen. And maybe he said that because Apollo had yellow and figure, go back to what what you made the kids with, but that ain't gonna happen. But anywho, so he basically says that and Drake is rich. And she was like, I'm rich too. Okay, girl. Then they do a little snippet of Kelly, the hater. And that's what you will be in every video. Kelly, the little short one with the big lips, the lips bigger than her whole body. That one. I guess her daughter is going to her first year of college. She got this old dorm with all this pink and white and just very gaudy and ugly in my opinion. But if she like it, I love it. So then we get to Angela, breakout fan favorite last year, and she grilling on the grill. I thought it was steak, but I think they're burgers. And she letting it be known she the best cook in the house because uh Charles did the waffle and chicken contest against Big Lip Hater last year, and I'm not gonna call her by her what I see on her, but Hater Kelly. I will stick with Hater Kelly. So he take a little, they go sit down and he take a bite. The hamburgers look burnt, Angela. I'm sorry. I don't know. That must be some straight up wagyu or some, I don't know, the premium beef where the inside was good. But anywho, they sit down. He take a bite. He tell her it's good. Her daughter comes out, her oldest daughter that's not by him. And she basically asks for him to get him some water. Charles asked her to bring some water, and she was like, yeah, make sure it ain't cloudy. So Charles did an interview, I guess, a little bit back, and I guess the question was, what made you get married? And he was like, I don't know, I think somebody put something in my drink. And so she brought that up, and he was like, I didn't say you did it. And basically she like, it was implied because you was marrying me. But he apologizes, and They stand up. He's one of them people. I don't know if it's the cameras or when it ain't the cameras. He just don't show affection to her. He ain't gonna do no PDA in the public. So she asked for a hug. He give her this dry hug. She was like, "Touch my booty." He was like, "No." And I'm like, y'all done set up and got married, been married for 10, 11 years and got 2 kids. And this guy acting like he don't want to touch you. Charles, stop playing for somebody else try to touch her. Because she a nice looking woman. I like Angela. So the next we got my girl. And I know some people don't like her, but Porsha always been my girl. Always. Ever since I ain't gonna even say the stuff she did because some of it is negative. But that's my girl, and I ain't gonna flippity flop 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 on her. So Porsha goes to see the new castmate, K Michelle. And everybody remembers K Michelle from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. She actually made the show. She was one of the good headliners when the show first started. And then she went on with her career. So she was taking pictures, and Porsha lets it be known that she known her for over the years. They've been in movies together. People say they look alike. Now that's where maybe when she had her fake butt or something. I don't know, honey, because I don't see that at all. I'm sorry, Porsha, and I like you. And not to say K Michelle is a bad looking woman, but baby, I don't see no resemblance. Is this back when she had her butt shots? I don't know. So Porsha lets it be known that she having a little shindig at her house, a couple's dinner. She want everybody to come, and she runs it down who's coming. And so the topic turns to Shamia, and K Michelle was like, "Oh, your best friend?" She was like, "No, not my best friend anymore." So, you know, it is what it is. I really think I'm gonna just say this. I really think that Porsha and Shamia's friendship is over. And I think that because these women known each other since childhood. They mama and their mamas was cool. And for that to just get on the show and that go awry, it was some jealousy on somebody's part. And I don't really know who because Porsha been in the spotlight. She been that girl. At one point, Porsha was on Atlanta Housewives. She was on the Ricky Smiley show. She was doing, news broadcasts. So she was really doing stuff. But Shamia had this rich African that seems to fade in the background. And I'm sorry, Shamia, he is not attractive. I don't see what the attraction is. And as freaky and licking your lips and all this, how you coming with it, I don't think that man is matching that. That ain't even of their culture. Okay. I'm sorry. So you might have you a little piece on the side or do some women. I don't know, allegedly, but it just like Porsha got hers to probably see what it was. And the men is old. They ain't just out there bop, 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 bop in the bed, girl. So whatever. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. But so she lets her know about the couple's dinner. K Michelle lets her know that she married. She just got married a couple of weeks ago. And this is probably a year or at least 10 months from taping. It probably was last summer. But she went to the courthouse and married this guy. And side note, they were on a show called it was on OWN, like one of those couple shows where you couples therapy, something like that. I can't remember the name. And so they must have been off and on. She said she known him since ninth grade, and he's a dentist. But I remember from that show, and this was well after she was off of Love and Hip Hop. So she lets her know that Drew Sidora is coming, a fellow singer. And K Michelle gave her shady looks like, she said that she do this. She got platinum, gold records and sold out, whatever. This is what she really do. So yeah, that was pretty much it. So the invite, Porsha invites her and yada yada yada, they on their way. So the next thing is Shamia, who follows Porsha saying, now this is the fakest part to me. her and the girl Hater Kelly then got cool, which lets me know that Shamia, you're looking for somebody to stay clicked up with, because everybody know how this go. If ain't nobody feeling you, they can ice you out, they can band together, and if nobody want to film with you, you don't have no show. So her and Kelly being like straight up BFFs, talking about they watch each other kids, she love her and all that, super fake. All the stuff you said about Porsha, you know what I'm saying? So I just whatever. So anyway, the invitation comes up, and she was like, "Yeah, she invited me." I was shocked, I was surprised, but then she talked about a text that was between her and Porsha. And of course, much like she did last year, trying to get a laugh out the audience, she's gonna mime the thing. So she doing the middle finger and doing her head like this is all the stuff Porsha said. Well, here's a little tidbit from me, honey. If you ain't gonna break the fourth wall and really say what she said or show the text, then shut it up, girl. Because anything that happened without filming, girl, whatever. And you did come on your best friend's show, you know, and you got this man that don't really want to show his life. And I'm gonna just tell a little bit quick story because the episode was okay, but it's the first one. But I usually get my hair braided at African braiding shops because they all over the Detroit suburbs, whatever, they everywhere. And this particular lady that braids my hair is African, and she was married to an African. This man went in Africa or wherever they from. I don't know the continent that they specifically on, but he just married a young girl, had a baby and everything. So the lady that braids my hair, she won't like a divorce. And I was like, I ain't trying to be funny, or maybe you have been Americanized, but ain't that of your culture? She said it is, but it has to be a discussion, and I have to agree. So if I have any African listeners, drop in the comments if that is true. But so she moved out the house, got another place or whatever. And the fact that Shamia husband don't really want to be in front of the cameras, and if you so paid and he's so paid and you got this rum business now and all this stuff, you really don't need the show. But see, it's not about paid or money. Porsha was popular, and I've always heard that fame is a drug. It's a drug. So I think when we talk about jealousy, you probably the jealous one, because her popularity, I mean, she was just known nationwide. She was on TV, news show. So I really think that you was like, well, I got the money, I got this Bentley, I got all these name brands that you don't even know how to rock together. But you didn't have that popularity, and you were sitting in the sideline being a sidekick, and I think you would have been joined, but he don't want to disclose none of his life, and he don't want to film, which to me, they should push you to the side. But I guess they wanted to show extravagant, because we get too many of these housewives on the black and white ones that get up and it be a whole front, and then next thing you know, they be filing bankruptcy and losing their house. But I think it's you, honey. I think it's you. I think you was a hater. And, not to compare looks, because Shamia is pretty, but Porsha can come in and command the room, you know? And we see that you did some nips and tweaks, but, whatever. So, she talks about this rum company and that she want her own money and she want to be able to give back, and she got her hosting and radio, and she worked down at the Atlanta Hawks commentating and whatever, but she want to be able to contribute and not just take. Girl, you got with that man so you could take, because like I said, that man ain't hitting on nothing, girl. Nothing. So pretty much after that, it's the day of the event, right? At Porsha House. And that's pretty much where the scene starts with. So the first person to arrive is Angela and Charles. So Angela said something to the effect that oh, I feel strange with her having a couples event at her ex house. Well, baby, if they the ex, then why would you feel strange? They the ex for a reason. And she said something about like Simon might jump out a closet and Ice gonna jump out the other closet because that's who got him. Duh. Girl, he is in a whole nother country. If he sneak his ass in, then it's probably gonna be hell to pay. But anyway, Drew comes in with some guy named Black on the phone, like FaceTime or Zoom, Microsoft Teams. I don't know what it is. But Drew comes in with her man on the phone. She's dating and whatever, whatever. And Phaedra comes and she says she cool with everybody in the group, but she a little skeptical about Angela from last year when Angela said that she had somebody come up to her at the Hawks and say, "Hey, I'm Phaedra fan. I'm the one with hands." And I believe it. Because Phaedra, one thing has been proven on here is that you a goddamn liar. And the fact that they got you back from all these years, girl, I guess. I wonder what would happen if Candy wanted to come back, but I'll be here for it though. And Candy got a lot going on. Like she divorced from Todd. The situation with you, it probably can be buttoned up because Todd was cool with Apollo at the time, and that's probably how y'all went around. Her trying to be down for her man. But anywho, so K Michelle arrives. She's with the guy. I believe his name is Caston. The husband. It's her husband. And you know, she comes in, she look nice and everything. K Michelle is a little short thing too, but I think she a little taller than the Hobbit, Hater Kelly. And she got on like a little lime green, like I call it a Hillary Clinton suit, like a pantsuit or whatever, I guess, And Drew comes with a little shady little remark. Uh, women is a trip. They is. And I guess the invitation said it was a black affair. So, you got K Michelle in this lime green, which probably was purposely done. Yeah. So, after that, Portia's friend, some guy, he looked like Baby Suge Knight, comes and she's acting like she's dating him. And, and the reason why I say acting is because I seen yesterday, the episode came on Sunday, that it was a paid acting gig for him, allegedly. I don't know. But I was just like, Portia, you shouldn't have to pay no man. But we know at some point, her and a woman gonna come out. But whatever. And they said that they met. The last time they had sex was 9 months ago. While Simon was in ICE. I don't know. It seemed like something ain't clicking for me for it. But anyway. So you got Pinky Cole. She owns a restaurant called Slutty Vegan. That's whatever. And she and her husband is at Shamea house. And Shamea is waiting to come. She waiting on Gurl. And just like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, saying Gurl happens to call the African guy and says that he got rerouted and he in North Carolina, South Carolina, somewhere, so he ain't gonna be able to come. So it's gonna be the three of them come: Pinky Cole, her husband, and Shamea. And Shamea was like, "I wish I would have got rerouted." Well, don't come, boo. Don't you gotta get paid? So anyway, so it pans back to the party, and Drew actually asks, "Where is Shamea?" And Portia, like, she was invited, I don't know, whatever. So this is before they get there, some people seem to think that like last year when the episode started, it was Shamea's birthday and Portia was real late. that it's being purposely done. I ain't even think about that. I think it's a reach. But if she didn't got all her body tweaked and face, and I don't really know, allegedly, what she got done, but I guess it was noticed by the other women. And they see her in person. I know that waist looks super small, but she might have wanted to just make an entrance, you know? I don't know. So whenever she does get there, she making it seem like, she extended the olive branch. Long as she cool, I'm cool, that type of vibe. And K Michelle was like, oh, she come in with a mohawk and a new body. So I don't know if K Michelle knew her or was watching the show and know that she pulled in, or just from being around in Atlanta. I don't even give a damn. But we already know that K Michelle gonna be bringing pure comedy because she can read you down, and I'm glad she is on Porsha team versus anybody else, because K Michelle was getting them together on Love and Hip Hop. So get ready for some shade. I already know, and I'm here for it. So you got to be quick to get on it. But anywho, whenever they get there, they get to talking at the table. Porsha plays some little game, and she asks, like, she started with Shamia and was like, what's something that you would trade with your ex, with your current, or like upgrade? And of course Shamia is like, oh, I wouldn't trade gurl for nothing. And I'm like, you know what that seemed like? Like Porsha may know a little something about your situation. If y'all was friends that long, she probably talked, but you ain't gonna say. But baby, I mean, Stevie Wonder can see that whole situation is about money. I mean, we can. And I mean, that's all right. Cause some people marrying for love lets you down sometimes. So when Pinky Cole, I want to piggyback, does her I guess the letting us know who she is. She got some kids. She a mother, she a wife, and the only beef she eat is her husband. Bitch, that's tacky and nasty. And I'ma just, I don't know. Hopefully my page don't get took down. But girl, I looking at you on site, I would have thought, especially by being Atlanta and it's a high gay population, I wouldn't even think you was in the men. So you obviously trying to prove it by saying, oh, only beef I eat is my husband. Well, whose beef do he eat? Allegedly. But anywho, so they get to talking. That with some more questions with the game. Like somebody asked, when did Porsha and the guy last have sex? Pinky, she don't even know her, but I just think that was irrelevant. And I forgot Cynthia there too, because Cynthia, I mean, other than starting to show off, it really wasn't no relevance with Cynthia. But I do want to point out, when Kelly and Shamea kept making notice, like, she got a guy in this man's house. That is her house. And Simon don't live here in the US. He lives in a whole nother country. So you can dead that. And to be quite frank, Kelly hater, I heard that your restaurant is closed. You was in a big old townhouse with 4 girls fighting this bullshit ass divorce with your husband. I was married 11 years. Like, that's so significant, girl. And clearly he ain't like you so much that he ain't even doing nothing for the girls, allegedly. But you just a hater. I cannot stand females like you. You exude hatred. You short. I don't know if them your real lips, because your daughter lips look big too, unless you done got hers blew up. But you are short, insignificant, insecure, and I thought they made you a friend of the show. So you having all this screen time is just really bothering my nerves. Because one thing, just like Heavenly was kind of funny, getting the girls, but then after a while just came hater, straight mean, nasty. It don't land like you think. It just don't. You know what I'm saying? So you're hater Kelly for all this season. So they asked K Michelle a question like similar to they basically asked who like can get an argument and have makeup sex, and they was like they do that, she do that all the time, whatever. So um you know K Michelle makes mention that because the men go to like she got somebody doing cigars. So um they basically try to bring up a situation when it's the girl from last year, Shamia, it's practice, where they're basically trying to say that the receipts from Phaedra having somebody run up on Shamia and say, I'm such and such with hands. So Phaedra is talking about she seen the tape or whatever. Phaedra, you a goddamn liar at a big ass stadium. And then in the confessional, the producer like, oh, they showed no. Well, I asked them to review them, like to see if somebody even walked up to them. You are a liar. You are a liar. You are a liar, Phaedra. We ain't even gonna continue with the story and keep the lie going. But you're a liar. Somebody did walk up to her and say what they said because she brought the little guy that said you paid him to say something about Charles. You are another hater black woman. And from all that blonde hair and them 50 shades of makeup, honey, we already know you insecure. We already know you insecure. Preacher's daughter probably couldn't get off the porch, but was screwing everything. Nene talked about your reputation, allegedly, head doctor. You are another hater. You know what I'm saying? So Angela is sticking to it. And Shamia tries to get it started like, well, I guess Drew came to Phaedra's dressing room after the reunion, was like, I don't know if all them receipts legit. So Shamia trying to be like, oh, you ain't mad at your friend from saying your receipts ain't receipting or whatever. And she was like, girl, it's still the same. Somebody came up to me and said I got hands. And Angela said she would love to see that tape. Girl, ain't none of y'all gonna see that tape because it don't exist, okay? If it's something with a security violation, you ain't got no pull like that, Phaedra, at the damn Atlanta where the Atlanta Hawks play, girl. It would have been better if you said Shamia, who was I guess a cheerleader, and she does like the halftime show. She do something there. She pulled the tape, but girl, your lies just gone, Phaedra, gone. So as they going back and forth, Drew asked Shamia, like, where's her husband? And she don't like Drew clearly because Drew is cool with Porsha now. And she like, you need to worry about your man on the phone. And then K Michelle's like, he got like one of those lights when you film and put up. He ain't got up and go to the bathroom or nothing. And she's seeing the cattiness between everybody, and she's basically like, this shit is like love and hip hop. She ain't say that, but that's what was implied. She's like, she thinks she coming over here to see people in their ball gowns and diamond, and they ratchet, and they are. Girl, yes, honey, you should feel right at home. So that was pretty much it. They kind of tried to ask how everybody was doing, but Hater Kelly asked Porsha, what's up with the text? And she was like, that text is between me and Shamia. Then she was like, I have something to tell with you, but I didn't have something to tell you about something you said, but I didn't have some drinks, and I'm going to be a gracious host, and we'll revisit it. So I can't wait for you to get up on little Miss Thing. We know you could step on her, but Porsha, don't lose your peach. But it kind of ends with K Michelle left them and went out there with the guys, like love and hip hop all over again. She makes mention that, she really went through it with the reality shows. And I know she's talking about Love and Hip Hop because it was a domestic violence allegation and they were really mean to her and this and that. But she handled herself and she got away. So we'll see how this season go. If she gonna do another season, I would be looking forward to it. So, and another thing I forgot to say, Phaedra came with that young guy that she brought on Married to Medicine, who looked like he could go, and you could take this as you may, allegedly, any way the wind blow. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't, but I don't know. I don't see no type of chemistry, but she a stunt queen. And so you got Kelly and Shamia in their confessionals cracking up because the guy, what they saying is a paid actor, he basically says, thank y'all for coming and does a toast or whatever. And they like, this man and this nigga, how did he pay the mortgage? Why? Did you pay it, Shamia? Because baby, if he paid like that, and like my story I told about my African braider is a true story, then it's probably somebody tucked away, and that's why he don't want much screen time, allegedly. But this episode, it wasn't too much. We already see the bubbling tension that's gonna happen. You see it with Shamia and Drew. You see it with Porsha and Shamia. You see it with Angela and Phaedra. So it looked like Cynthia just a neutral party as always, but I'm here for it. And yeah, let's get it. And that's all I got to say. I ain't gonna say no more. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Uh, post it. I don't give a damn. But that's all I got. I ain't got no more. All right. Have a good one.